Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here, and tonight I want to talk to you all a little bit about Soulkeeper, which we talked about a bit last night in the 10.0.5 AF review video, but honestly, we didn't really hit on it enough. And we looked at it on stream today a little bit, and this ability is actually pretty strong. I don't want to use the word busted because busted means things get nerfed, and we'll see where it goes. I was debating making this video tonight because like someone's gonna in the comments is gonna say whenever Kalamazi mentions something OP it gets nerfed, but in the end this is gonna be known very quickly once Tuesday hits, because it's not just AF, it's Demo, Destro, and AF that all get access to Soulkeeper. So there's that. Now, for those that didn't hear, I am indeed in a new apartment. This is, I guess, the second video being filmed in that apartment. So I'm sorry for the echo and the subpar lighting and all that. I'll fix it over the next few days, but hopefully this video is pretty short. I wanted to get it out quickly to you guys tonight, all that kind of stuff, and I guess just go from there. Now, the usual spiel before we get too far in the video. Number one, any weak auras, add-ons, profiles in the video you'd like to acquire. Links to my Twitch and Discord down below, where they are all indeed available to you guys for free. And number two, I want to give a huge shout out to my patrons, like usual. Guys, thank you for all the support on Patreon a million times. If you're looking at supporting on Patreon or following any kind of social media, stuff like that, links to all that up here. So that being said, let's just jump right into it, talking about Soulkeeper. And I want to briefly touch also on Inquisitor's Gaze and why it's so bad. Alrighty, so we're playing AF here. Now, I want to say off the bat that Summon Soulkeeper works for Affliction, Demonology, and Destruction, all the same essentially in AoE. In single target, it'll favor Affliction a little more due to Shadow's Embrace and Haunt damage modifiers. Haunt and Shadow's Embrace increase all the damage you do, whether it's dots, Rapture, Drain Soul, Trinkets, anything else. Haunt and Shadow's Embrace increase damage of anything that you do, including Summon Soulkeeper. But putting that aside, number one, very briefly, so those that were asking about Inquisitor's Gaze and things, this spell, both these spells, Inquisitor's Gaze and Soulkeeper, have been changed in patch 10.0.5. This is no longer a constant source of damage. It is basically a proc. It's like a trinket effect, a damage-based effect, right? It can proc and then summon the eyeball, which would deal Shadow Flame damage over 12 seconds. Now, it's sort of cool, I guess, for people that like those kind of effects, but the problem is that Inquisitor's Gaze used to proc, well, it still does proc your ring from Aranog, Seal of Darkness Chosen. It's fire damage. The eyeball, being a constant source of damage, would proc the ring over and over. The ring amounted to about, I'd say, 2.5% of my damage, roughly, in single target. Now it is much less. We'll look at it here in a minute, but it is considerably worse, because the ring doesn't proc, or procs very little off Inquisitor's Gaze now. And number two, I'm pretty sure they forgot to buff Inquisitor's Gaze. It does like 0.7% of your damage. It's putrid. It's like half what it did in 10.0. I'm pretty sure they forgot to buff it. But what they didn't forget to buff is Summon Soulkeeper. So the way this works, and what's changed from 10.0 to 10.5, is that Summon Soulkeeper currently on retail. So we have 10 stacks of it here, basically, right? On retail, it was active for, I believe, for the number of stacks you had when you cast Summon Soulkeeper. So if I had 10 stacks, it'd be active for 10 seconds, right? If I had 8 stacks, it'd be active for 8 seconds, right? They've changed that in 10.05. It is now active for 8 seconds baseline, whether you cast it with 1 stack, 5 stacks, 8 stacks, or 10 stacks. The difference is it does more damage based on the number of stacks of Soulkeeper that you have. Now, you passively also regenerate stacks of Soulkeeper roughly once every, it appears to be about once every like 25-ish seconds here, roughly, and you max out at 10 stacks. So outside of combat, you will indeed accrue 10 stacks at some point, and that 10 stack Soulkeeper is what does the most damage. Now, if a fight is ending or whatever, you can cast it at 4 or 5. It'll still last 8 seconds, but it won't deal the same amount of damage over 8 seconds. However, the cool thing, we'll look at it here in a minute, is that it's good in both single target and AoE. There's also no cooldown on Summon Soulkeeper. So let's pop it here. Theoretically, if a mob died here, I can pop it again. There's no cooldown. You can have multiple Soulkeepers rolling over and over and over if mobs are dying in between casts. It's exceptionally strong at what it does. And the cool thing, it's not just AF that gets it. AF gets it, Demo gets it, Destro gets it, because it's in your main class tree, right? So with that being said, let's take a look at it in single target and in AoE. Okay, so for single target stuff, we're going to play Affliction. Now, keep in mind that Haunt in Shadow's Embrace will indeed increase damage of Soulkeeper, because they increase everything damage-wise, right? It'll be 10% from Haunt and 9% from Shadow's Embrace when it's stacked to 3 stacks, but regardless, it's still good for Destro in single target, it's still good for Demo in single target. It's better in AoE, but it's still good in single target. And I want to clarify from the last part of the video that Soulkeeper, so it generates stacks of itself roughly once every 25-ish seconds to a max of 10 stacks, but whenever a mob dies around you, you have a 100% chance to collect that soul and add a stack to it. So if you go into a large pool Mythic Plus, put Soulkeeper down, and you go to essentially 0 stacks of Soulkeeper. If 10 mobs die, you're back to 10 stacks in 10 seconds. You can pop it every single pack. There's no cooldown on it, right? So it's pretty strong in AoE, but also pretty strong in single target. So we're gonna play this build here. I have heard about things simming higher than PS. I've seen the sims. I don't know if it's true or not completely. I need to look into it, but either way, we're going to play this build here. So we're going to open up. Corruption's still bugged, but it's fine. We'll make it work. Watch how much damage Soulkeeper does in our opener. Precast Haunt, UA, Agony, Corruption, Siphon Life. We're going to drain the 3 stacks here. 2, 3. We're going to PS. We're going to Dark Lair. I'm going to Soulkeeper now. Start Rapturing. Watch Soulkeeper. The red bar, Soul Combustion. There's 3 Raptures, 4 Raptures, reapply Haunt. There's Dread Touch. Look at its damage. Look at its damage, dude. This thing does so much damage. 332k. I've seen upwards of 450k as well. It does so much damage. I've seen it beat Rapture in openers too. It's a bit of RNG based on crits and things. It does so much damage. The one thing that was that, so it looks pretty flashy, pretty impressive, but it is indeed roughly about a 2.5 to 3 minute cooldown to reach that 10 stack max, because you don't accrue many stacks in combat, right? Unless you're killing mobs. In a patchwork setting, you're probably going to be, I'm at 2 stacks now. I've been in combat for a minute. I'm at 2 stacks, almost 3 here, I'd assume in a second. 3 about probably now. There we go. So you're actually sitting on stacks or I guess waiting on stacks for a little while. But when you have them, it brings an exceptional amount of burst in single target, in AoE, basically everywhere across the board. It's a really strong ability to have around. And if you're in a setting like, let's say, Aranog, it's a Prio Ag Cleave fight, right? Ad spawning every once in a while. I think Aranog has 7 ads per wave. That's 7 stacks of Soulkeeper every, 30-ish seconds. Aranog. What other fights? Sinarth, Broodkeeper Diurna, Dathia. There are so many fights where you can get insane value out of Soulkeeper. It's actually absurd. So, I mean, this ability looks pretty strong in burst scenarios, even in single target. It's 5% of my damage, right? That's basically what Fel Meteor's doing, right? Yeah, I'm at 5 stacks here. Again, when I pop this thing, it's going to jump to 6% again, roughly, in about a minute here. So we'll keep going for a little while. Rapture again here. I'm amazed I haven't skipped this rotation, talking about everything in the last minute or so. But I also pray the corruption bug doesn't make it to retail. Oh, for what it's worth, there's some bug also that's interrupting Drain Soul cast again, like it did on beta. I don't know what it is. It's not the tier bonus. I'm not sure what it is, but it's very annoying. So on Tuesday, it might make it to live. Just be ready. So we're going to Rapture here, dump this Drain Soul, dump this Drain Life. We have PS coming up about now. We'll PS about now. It's fine. We'll Dark Lair. We will go. That's Soulkeeper. Why not? 7 stacks. Close enough. It is what it is, right? 3%, 3.7%, 4.2, 4.3, 4.7, 5%. The ability's solid, man. It's just good. Even in single target. Like, an ability like that, strong, and there's so many settings. I mean, Aranog. Like, this tier. What do we even have? I don't know what this is. This is a new adventure guide, apparently. Where's the raid at? Good lord. I mean, Aranog. Great fight for it. Sinarth. Great fight for it. Dathia adds. Great fight for it. Kurog. Certain parts of Kurog can be really good. Broodkeeper. Great fight for it. Razagath. The Sparks apparently give stacks of Soulkeeper. There are so many fights this tier where you can get solid Soulkeeper value in single target or Prio Cleave. It's good in single target. Let's look how strong it is in AoE. All right, so we're down in Dagger's Dagalore. Similar to last night, we're still playing AF. This can work for Demo, Destro, or Affliction, whatever you're playing. It doesn't matter a whole lot. Yeah, we're going to play this build here, more or less the Mythic Plus build. You can play Wrath over Crescendo, whatever you want. But either way, this build's pretty wild. Let me rephrase that. Soulkeeper is pretty wild. So we're opening up here. Tanks running in, precast a Seed, precast a UA. We can go a Vile Tank right here. Into a Haunt, why not? We can dark layer here. Put Soulkeeper down. Bam, some siege. Look at Soulkeeper. Look at its damage. Look at its damage, dude. What is this damage? What is this damage? I just threw 3 seeds. What is this damage? Like, what is it doing? It's 1.31 million damage over the course of what? That was, I mean, what, 8 seconds, right? 8 seconds? And the thing is, like I said, we'll look at it in a minute here too. In Mythic Plus, or in any scenario, if a pack is dying, right, and you're able to, like, get multiple stacks of this ability from that pack, you can literally have a 10 stack for every single pack. A 10 stack, 7 stack, 6 stack, a decent stack for every single pack. But you can see here again, I popped it at 4 stacks there. Look at the damage difference. It gains a lot of value at higher stacks. Like that 4 stack, 5 stacks, okay. But that 8, 9, 10 stack, that's where the damage really lies. But look what it does. How many seeds did I cast? I cast like 10 seeds in 4 targets. It did the same damage as about what 7, 8 seeds, 8 or 9 seeds. It's pretty wild. The ability is actually insane. And this works the same for Demo, Destro, and AF, right? I mean, Demo's damage profile is already pretty good in AoE, but hey, Soul Combustion, what, a 1.5 second cast, throw it down. The only downside is that, unfortunately, it's sort of how Guillotine is. You Guillotine, small radius, you place it, the tank pulls the pack out of it. It's a bit unfortunate, but you still will collect the souls around the actual mob. It's solid, man. It's just solid. Max normal hit of 32k, a max crit of 60k at 10 stacks, pulsing on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mobs. It's capped at 8. Well, swear rooted at 8, but the ability is just insane. It's very good, and I would assume by Tuesday evening, this will be going around. People will see, oh, Warlock's a lot better in plus. Every spec is. Why is that? The answer is Soul Combustion and Soulkeeper. And just to clarify what I was talking about with chaining Soulkeepers and chaining stacks and all that, let's take a brief look at it in, I guess we can call it AoE. Let's pull a handful of mobs here, right? So I'm going to drop down here. Soulkeeper weak war is right here. Also here on my screen, 2 stacks, 3 stacks, same thing. So we're going to pull some mobs here. I'm going to pull my Voidwalker out so I get a tank pet here. Watch the stacks. Just watch what happens. Round a few mobs up. This is our boss. That's great. Probably gonna die to that, but that's okay. Pull this, pull this, pull this, pull this, pull this. Sure. Round them all up. Soulkeeper. So we're gonna go to 0 stacks of Soulkeeper here. But watch what happens. So if things start dying, 2 stacks, 4 stacks, 6 stacks, Soulkeeper again. There's 2 Soulkeepers here. 1, 2. They're both going. They're both still out right now. And like, imagine that in the plus setting, right? Imagine if you're at 8 stacks, 10 stacks going into a pack, you pop your Soulkeeper, it blows the entire pack up, 10 mobs die, you have a 10 stack for the very next pack. Let's just do it here briefly. Pull some bugs, get 10 stacks and go from there. We're at 3 stacks already. Pull some of this stuff, come here. This looks good. This is a big droplet pack, sure. Not even gonna cast Soulkeeper here. Not even going to cast it. I want 10 stacks, right? Cast some seeds. So easy 10 stack right there. We're rolling at 10. Let's round some mobs up here. Let's kill this thing first. All right, so let's round some mobs up here, right? This looks juicy. Let's get some of these. Don't even want to hit it. Just pull it, round them up. 3, 4, tag it. 5, 6. This is like 9 mobs. Close enough. Watch my Soulkeeper stacks here, right? I'm gonna pack wall Soulkeeper. 0 stacks. Watch them die. Look at the damage here. 6 stack. Soulkeeper again. There's 2 Soulkeepers out right now. There's 3 Soulkeepers out right now. Like, I mean, what do you do in this setting, man? Like, it's just absurd. It's just absurd. You can chain these stacks to every single pack. Packs won't die this fast in plus, most likely, but wherever you are, you've got Seed Spam, Soul Flame, Soul Combustion. It's pretty insane. I think maybe it's a good thing that I didn't really look at this a whole lot on PTR because I was moving over the past week or so. Might have gotten changed a little bit beforehand if I did, but hey, you know what? T-minus 36 hours until 10.05. It's gonna be a fun one. So thanks for watching, dudes. That wraps it up. Hopefully it wasn't too long of a video, but I felt like after looking at last night's video and then looking at Soulkeeper on stream today, we really didn't give it enough credit. The ability is actually pretty insane. Listen, I was debating not making a video on it. Someone's gonna complain in the comment section, oh, it gets nerfed whenever I talk about something like that, but there's already a video out there on it from yesterday. We looked at it on stream today. It's in the Discord and all kind of stuff. It's already sort of known. It's gonna be more known in a day and a half when it goes live, but you know, it is what it is. So for those that are wondering, last video, this is white hair, by the way. Yeah, I'm old. So, but yeah, Soulkeeper is pretty wild, man. I want to make a short video on it tonight just to look at how good it actually is. It's fun. It's exciting. I would assume they probably put a cooldown on it. Probably. And probably made a cooldown's probably warranted. It's warranted. And depending on how it goes, I wouldn't even mind them increasing the damage more at a baseline lower stack amount, like 3-4 stacks. But at 8, 9, 10 stacks, this thing crushes. It does an insane amount of damage, and it's a baseline talent that Destro, Demo, and Af can all get without really losing anything at all. By the way, it does proc the ring from Aranog, but it's not a very... It's RNG. You're not casting it very often, right? So, I mean, if you're casting it in plus, chances are high it's an AoE. Probably doesn't matter a whole either way. But you will cast it in single target. In AoE, it's good. In single target, it's good. And on fights like Aranog, Senarth, Brewkeeper, Dathia, Razageth, fights with ads dying, you have so many stacks so often. 2 Soulkeepers at a time, 3 Soulkeepers at a time. It's pretty insane. The ability's fun. So, with that being said, guys, if you have any questions or anything like that, I think anything I might have missed in the video, put it down below in the comment section. I'm sure to get back to you. Any weekly Warcraft add-ons and profiles you saw, once again, links to my Twitch and Discord down below. You can get them for free. And I also want to give one huge and final shout out to my patrons again, guys. Thank you for supporting on Patreon. A million times. Really appreciate it. If you're looking at supporting on Patreon, should be a link up here, as well as down below in the video description. I'm assuming with it being Monday, essentially, it is Monday now at this point, that this makes it to retail in a day or so. If you want to play with it, have fun early on. It might last for a while. It might not. But either way, it'll be fun. It's a cool ability. Locke needs some help, man, right? So we got some help in the oddest way possible, being Summon Soulkeeper. But it's fun. It's cool. And yeah, it's PTR. So thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, hit the like and sub buttons below. It helps out a ton. And I will catch you all again soon on stream. Peace.